everyone, it's Roxanne Derhodge. So I decided to end this week by talking a little bit more about virtual teams. So it's hard as it is, the fact that you're not able to see your team members to stay connected. So what are some things that you should consider? Well, I often say that teams gel, or they also bring some concerns that have been ongoing with them. So it doesn't mean that differences will go away. So as the manager of a team, what are some things that you can do? Well, I think the first thing is, if you're a new team, I spoke to an executive coach this week, Pam Griffiths, on my podcast, and we talked a little bit about, with a new team, you need to really, as the manager, get a hold of what kind of the norms of this new virtual team is. So it becomes very important, if you haven't already done that, to really get everybody on the line together and talk about what are some of the rules that you need to kind of go by. Now, this isn't something that should come from you as the leader. There may be certain things that you have to lay down in reference to deadlines and those types of things, but to really have your team come up with what these group norms will be, so that collectively you can come up with them together and decide how you're going to function together as a team. So if it's a new team, make sure that there's stages to forming a team. They're forming, which is just like it sounds, beginning; norming, which is coming up with your norms; storming, which means there might be a bit of difference; and performing, which is once you've kind of gotten over some of those rough spots, then you can go back to performing, or go to performing. So these are some stages that, as a manager or leader, you need to think about. Where are your teams? Are they new? Do they just need to get their basics down with their norms? Or are they self-functioning team that have already been virtual? So don't assume that there's not going to be differences. And there's a lot of people having a lot of uncertainty at this time, so there's a lot of stress. So I would say, just put it out there as one of the agenda on your for your meeting. How is everybody doing? Do a bit of a check-in. Ask people to kind of talk about something that they've been doing a bit different to cope with the times, and ask them if there's anything that they need from the team collectively or individually from you, allowing them the opportunity to go offline to discuss these things, because some of it may be private. So these are some of the basic things you can do. Touch your base with each one of your team members individually. Reach out to them. Leave them a voice note or a video note, just saying, checking in, seeing how you're doing. Is there anything I can help with? And then ask them if there's any kind of skills that they need that you might be able to set up for them. And again, letting them know that they could have a direct line to you, and provide some times that maybe they could just jump on a Zoom call with you. Touch base even though the individual says they're doing well, because I think staying connected is just the way that you're going to get a pulse for your individuals on your team and as your team collectively. If there are contentious issues coming up, try to resolve them as soon as possible. Again, virtually, you would, if there's a couple of people having conflict, you give them a bit of time to resolve it between themselves, give them 72 hours to get back to you with the resolution and a solution, or if not, you offer the compromise of getting involved. But again, leaving these issues unresolved just creates an energy of its own that could be a bit toxic for your team. So these are just some tips that you might consider. I hope everybody's staying safe and staying connected as much as you can to your team members, but also to each other. Make sure that you connect outside to your social networks in whatever way necessary to offer support and give support and receive support, which is important at this difficult time as we get through COVID-19. Okay, everyone, stay safe. This is Roxanne Derhodge of the Authentic Connection Movement. I'll talk to you next week. Have a great weekend.